Okay, so, both Undertale and Deltarune were published by a company called Royal Sciences LLC. I looked up the name and found Undertale on a trademark registrar owned by the party of the same name. It has trademarks for Deltarune and Undertale twice, one with just the music files. Looking under Deltarune, I quickly headed to the address and found... Uh-oh.
Good thing it showed up on the New Hampshire Company Registry website, which very kindly gave me the address 9 Capitol Street, Concord, New Hampshire, 03301, USA, which led to a nice nondescript office building.
Okay, cool. Gaster lives in some random apartment building. Good to know. There is nothing here. Theory is over. Case closed.
Hold on. Tilt the map a little bit to the side. Is that a church? Is that a police department? Does that say School Street?
And the shades went on and I was like Neo escaping the Matrix.
Using the church and the police station, I successfully triangulated exactly which building Royal Sciences LLC owns in Deltarune. Revealed that it was none other than Sans's restaurant. With Sans's restaurant and a few put together Deltarune maps as reference points, we can now go through each and every building in Deltarune and try to find its real-life counterpart.
Before we start, it's also important to remember that the spaces between the buildings in Deltarune can be kind of off-scale. There are weirdly long roads and random houses we don't get to see, so there is a lot of wiggle room. I am also in no way saying that any real houses or buildings that real people live in are in a video game or something. Anyway, whatever. I'm going to do this in order of relevance, starting with the Dreamer residence, which is just one street above Sans's restaurant and a little bit to the left. Doing the same in real life ends us up in the historical Pam Walker house. Here is a side-by-side comparison. Note the driveway on the side of the house.
Next up is the school. During my search for this one I found Jokin's Shoe Shop, which was mildly amusing. I really appreciate that name. Anyway, this is a bit more loose of a connection, but just one road down and to the right from Sans's restaurant in both reality and in Deltarune, we find a school. It is sandwiched between a bank and a consignment gallery, but the windows bear a mild resemblance to the in-game school.
Heading into Chapter 2, we have the library, which is directly below Sans's restaurant and to the left of the school. Following this, in real life we find a bank. Yeah, so unfortunately the library doesn't match up with the real library, but they are visually sort of similar. On to Chapter 4. We are going to take a closer look at the church. Unfortunately, unlike the game, there is only one road between the church and Royal Sciences LLC. However, looking at the churches side by side, there is a very strong resemblance between the Centerpoint Church and the Deltarune Church.
I also noticed the First Church of Christ Scientist that is relatively in the same area. Although it's not quite in the right place, it has a similar circular window and symbol at the very top. Right beside the church in Deltarune is the town hall. However, beside the real-life church is a large parking garage, and on the other side of it is a law firm. The actual state government building in Concord is located directly beside Royal Sciences LLC. In-game, this is about where QC's Steiner is. The rest of the houses in Deltarune are similarly shuffled around. They don't seem to have significant counterparts in Concord.
Asgore's Flower Shop is one street above and to the right of Sans's restaurant. Copying that in real life finds us a barber shop. Jockington grows a beard, I guess. Continue down the street to the right of Asgore's shop and we reach the water in both real life and in Deltarune. Also, I found another flower shop called Penumbra. I'm sure that's not relevant in any capacity. Finally, last but very much not least, there is the elephant in the room. That is the shelter. Where is the shelter? What is the shelter? Is the shelter real? All good questions. Questions that I don't have answers for. Sorry. I thought it was maybe this Donkey Kong mural, but that was made in like 2021, so it probably wasn't intentional. Deltarune Shelter is 2 streets down and a long way south from Sans's restaurant.
There is a watchmaker in real life that lines up decently, but there aren't any other dead ends in this area or places surrounded by trees. Nothing really matches the shelter's look. There is a literal Bunker Hill in New Hampshire, but it is about 20 miles away and has a house on it.
Now let's go through the more minor locations. By heading up the road and left past the Dreamer House, both in real life and in game, we find the Holiday House, aka the New Hampshire Historical Society.
They have an uncanny resemblance in shape and structure, and they even both have these little lantern things out in front.
Just to the left and south, from Royal Sciences LLC, we end up in the police department. Unfortunately, it's not nearly as cool as its in-game counterpart. Next to it, where the hospital should be, there is in fact a government building called Consumer Protection. I hope Rudy's okay. There isn't really a lot of resemblance between these two except maybe their color.
Now that we know that Deltarune is real, it begs the question.
Is Gaster real?
Well, I mean, obviously not, right?
But I went back to the trademark place where I found the address anyway. And if you know anything about trademarks, they're a law thing. And law things need attorneys. And this is a complicated way of saying that there's a certain attorney's name listed for both Undertale and Deltarune. Nathan R. Deleault is a lawyer in Concord, New Hampshire. Deleault attended Dartmouth College, and in his time there, he was involved in 18 scientific publications about prions and prion disease. N.R. Deleault is also an anagram of Deltarune. If you remove those letters from his full name, you are left with Nathal. If you flip that around, you get the name of a star. Boom science. That's a really cool OC. I mean, Gaster. Okay, so Gaster is Mr. Deleault and is into science and law and has also invaded scientific documents.
That would all be really, really cool and awesome if he wasn't real. That's right. Nathan R. Deleault is a real person somehow. He has a family. He likes the outdoors.
So then who came first? The man or the game? Is it a really good coincidence? How can that even happen? Is Toby God?
My friends, I simply don't have the answers to these things. And I simply don't know what the point is.
Maybe Deltarune is an amalgamation of a whole lot of things. Maybe it's a metaphor for something. Maybe it's just an ode to Mr. Fox's childhood.
Maybe we don't have to solve Deltarune. Maybe we just have to watch and enjoy and hope beyond hope, that the three heroes will save the day, because we can't. We can find so much of Deltarune in everything. We can find dozens of coincidences and connections and references in history and in art and in literature.
I think it's because when you love something, everything reminds you of it.
Don't forget, it says,
I'm with you in the dark.
do you promise not to?